Salute, this is Jeff.
This is David.
Hey, David. Have you ever heard of a game called Elderborn?
I've heard those two words used in multiple games, just not in that combination with that font.
As you can tell from the music in the background, it has a certain style to it.
Yeah.
I'll describe this this is a recommendation. I'm going to describe this game as a comparison of two other games, which is
Okay.
Kingsfield and Doom.
Huh.
We can choose our character. We can have our Lady Barbarian with the impossible push-up bra, or we can have Dude. This like doesn't really matter. It's the cutscenes and the grunts. we can be the lady. The default difficulty is Elderborn.
Right.
Not hard as fun.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna stick with that. We're also going to skip the intro. Doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter.
Okay.
This is an indie game made in Unity. And It just came out of, I think, early access. So it's like a real game now. It's because, as we all know, the early access doesn't count, right? That's not a real game.
It doesn't.
So this is, I'm always looking for that Kingsfield fix. You know me.
Right. Yeah, I know. Because they stopped making them a long time ago.
They did. So it's Doom. I'd say it's more like, maybe it has more in common with like a Painkiller, or a Quake. I have my FOV set up to a pleasant 90.
Okay.
And we have lots of traps, and it's first person, and it's going to be melee combat. And I think the melee combat is pretty good. And also there's a lot of Dark Souls in it, which will kind of become obvious. I'm going to skip through most of this tutorial stuff here.
Okay.
You don't have stamina management, which is good, because that would not have really fit with this style of game, which is a lot more like fast action. Right. But you have your hold for power attack, and then your simple light attacks.
Right.
And you also have a mighty boot.
Nice.
You can block. You got a mighty boot. The boot is so good. We're going to abuse the crap out of the boot.
All right.
Much like Kingsfield, this is a game about spacing.
Okay.
The enemies do a crap ton of damage, especially on this default difficulty, which is rather difficult. It's kind of a Dark Souls thing that just kind of has always been the case.
Mm-hmm.
You have dash, as it is said there.
Mm-hmm.
I have it set to B just because it seems like a natural Dark Souls thing.
Mm-hmm.
The dash doesn't consume stamina. This is as fast as you can do it. Now,
okay.
It doesn't have iframes, but you can use it while doing anything.
Okay.
So it's completely independent of your attacks.
Oh,
which means
nice.
you can kind of cancel whatever you want
with that dash. Oh, you have way more range than I thought you did.
Yes. So the important thing about playing this game well is to get the exact range of your weapons down. Because if you get too close, like, okay, let's try one of these guys again. Well, actually, it'll respawn him because, this is a bonfire and we can respawn the enemies.
Right. Okay.
All right, come on, hit me. If you're going at like this range. Okay, well, that's kind of missing my point. Okay, there we go. They can hit me. But as long as you can stay just outside of the range and then you get just the edge of the sword in, you're going to have a good time.
And it's when the reticle dot thing turns red?
Let's see. Is that when reticle turns red, or is that a crit? Let's find out. I guess it would be the range. Yeah, I guess so.
Sweet. I noticed
one thing. You noticed a thing. One thing that I would say, you can also block this. So we have right now the only weapon we have is just the basic sword, and by blocking with the sword, we can master it. These things are simple, but I find them very effective for playing the game as just like a way to maybe I'll use that weapon a little bit longer. This is kind of goes with my love of the familiarity system from Neo.
Right.
Where it encouraged you to use a weapon a lot, and then it would be better But then also, if you didn't want to use it anymore, you could infuse it better if you had mastered it with the familiarity. Anyways, this is simple. Kill 100 enemies, you get level 2. It maxes out the weapon. You get extra damage. This one is block and reduces damage. What that actually means is that literally you have 20% damage reduction when you have the sword equipped. It doesn't mean that the block reduces damage by 20%, which I did not know at first. It's a little confusingly worded.
Yeah,
but since we blocked with each weapon has its own challenge. So this one is extremely simple. It's just block 20 times, and then essence, your soul equivalent, is what you get from it.
Okay.
So this is easy enough to do. You can just kind of. Let's say that the opening challenges of the game are fairly simple, probably by design.
Now,
we're gonna get rid of that guy.
You know what this actually reminds me of in a fun way? Dark Messiah of Might and Magic.
Yeah, okay, yes. See, that's another thing that kind of scratches that itch, but not really for the Kingsfield side of things. This I like because it's more of a, dungeon crawl.
Right.
But the Arx Fatalis, and then arcane style of stuff kind of got away from me a little bit because they did here the Dark Messiah, and they also did, Dishonored and
right.
And those things. And those have good melee combat and good worlds and stuff, but I don't know.
It wasn't
Dishonored
what you wanted.
it just never really stuck with me.
Right.
The Mighty Boot.
Yeah. Specifically, the boot is what makes me think of Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, because you could boot enemies into everything.
So this enemy, whenever you boot their shield away, they will always do a counterattack like that.
Huh.
So if you just stand right next to them, you're just going to get hit. And this can be frustrating, especially if you were thinking that your attacks are going to stagger them. It's just something to learn. Each enemy is deterministic, which I also appreciate.
Okay.
So there's a way that you can fight each enemy, and there's more than one way to do it. But that actually means that when you fight multiple enemies, which is something that is not good in any Dark Souls game, that it's actually doable.
Okay.
Because then you just have you have an enemy here, and you're like, all right, I know I can do kick, and then 2 slashes, and then a kick, and then 2 slashes, and that's the rhythm for that enemy. But it's this other one, I know that I can just do a dodge, and then it'll kill him with one of those. And then you can start combining them, and then you can just start riffing. Just start riffing.
Okay. So it's kind of like a puzzle/rhythm game on top of everything?
Yeah. So we got this guy in the background that's shooting at us, which is bad. So let's go take care of him.
So it's Dark Messiah, Might and Magic, Kingsfield, Painkiller, Doom, and the final boss of Drakengard.
If you say so on that last one, I'll take your word for it. Take your word for it.
The giant ash mother.
The grotesqueries, is that what you mean?
Well, no, the giant ash mother where the final boss is a rhythm game.
Oh, okay. No, I'd say I'm not very familiar with the gameplay part of Drakengard.
It's super bad.
I am much more familiar with it. So, oh no, we got a light leak over here.
Oh, no.
Fine. Oh, no. Ooh. This might be useful.
Uh-oh.
It's an Estus flask.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's a blood vial.
Yeah, okay, it's a blood vial. It's a blood vial flask.
Or it's, what were those things called from Bioshock? Ooh, he cut his head off.
Got another key. Activate the fountain. You can level up. Hey, how about that?
Oh, weird.
Yes, you just have 3 stats, and then when you get 5 points in a stat, you can get one of the 2 stat skills, and then if you get 20 points in the stat, you can get the second and then ultimate for that skill. Super simple, but effective.
So, are all of the skill names references?
Well, Rip and Tear is a little on the nose.
Yeah.
Lick Your Wounds, Die Hard, Barbaric Rage. Kind of. Okay. Despite the fact that the hardest difficulty is called Hard AF, and there's metal music, although we haven't actually heard it kick in very much because most of these enemies are dying pretty fast.
Right.
I don't know. I'm glad it doesn't have too much of a kitschy style. You don't have your character isn't constantly quipping or something. They're just silently killing things, which is better.
It's more of the painkiller style of metal.
That's true. And I was not a huge fan of Painkiller, but I can appreciate.
Right.
I would highly recommend, if you're playing this game, get 5 levels of speed, which just makes you faster and your attacks faster.
Oh.
And then get the reflect projectile skill.
Oh, for your block.
So you can parry, because those dart, arrow, sword throwing guys in this first area of the game are probably the most annoying and deadly that I found when going through here the first time. It was just kind of annoying to deal with them. Because I going through slowly the first time, he didn't make it. I did it.
Nice.
This guy just hanging out in there.
So does your Estus flask recharge, or did you only use half of it?
Does. This is another thing I actually like a lot, is the more damage you do, it fills up to 3 charges.
Oh, nice.
But going to a save point doesn't give you your charges back. I think it just gives you 1.
Oh, okay.
So there's a reason why you don't want to literally just reset everything at every checkpoint.
Huh. So how much time have you put into this game?
I think probably just, well, I guess Steam would probably let me know. I'm going to guess about 8 to 10 hours.
Okay.
Where's the third act of the story? Oh, there isn't one.
Oh.
Technically, there is one, but it seems it has the feeling of something that was rushed.
Ooh.
I was surprised that I liked it as much as I did.
Right.
Because I was like, oh, I just want to keep playing this. I was like, oh, that's nice. Get out of here.
Yeah.
So this part is very hard if you go slow.
Yeah.
Because there's guys just constantly coming at you with those stupid arrows.
They're probably pylums or something like that. Oh, no, they're just straight up javelins. All right.
So, like, there's a lot of enemies. There's a little bit of enemy spam in this game, which I think there's not a place in the game where they didn't feel like they could just put enemies everywhere. That's plus or minus, whether that's good or not. I think it's probably not great. Also, the design-wise, I don't really agree with the fact that there's in the first area there's too many ranged enemies. But also there's too many, or the ranged enemies themselves. This is a minor gripe. They should die in 1 hit, and they shouldn't have an unblockable counter.
Oh.
Because if you get right up on one of these guys, I'll show it after around the corner here.
Get the shield.
Although enemies
dude.
can hurt each other, which is nice.
Ooh. Oh no, that was a dodge.
Kind of outranging this guy. Just need to get a look closer. There we go.
There you go.
Okay, so if we get close up on this guy, see that? That's an unblockable kick. I don't think they should have that.
Yeah.
I think that they should be like the weak. They do a lot of damage, and they should just be weak and try and run away from you and die in 1 hit. Anyways, that's just like a minor consideration. These are treasure chests.
Ooh.
I got essence.
You got souls, blood echoes.
Essence.
What were they in Neo?
Amrita.
Amrita, right.
Oh, he didn't get. There we go.
Is that killing them?
It is killing them.
Okay, so this is all right.
I'm very happy with the amount of
big hits
of kicking murder.
So, are there ever spike traps or spike walls that you can kick them into?
Oh, of course, yes.
Okay,
there's a bullet storm quality to some of it as well.
That is literally Dark Messiah of Might and Magic. Like, the most effective way to kill some of the strongest enemies is just make them slip on ice into spike walls or kick them into spike walls. What's the punishment for dying?
Punishment for dying is very Dark Souls. You go back to the last whatever fountain you've been at, and then all of your essence is dropped in a pile.
Oh, okay. Does it go away if you die?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is very clearly made by people that were drawing inspiration directly from Dark Souls 1.
Right. Okay.
Which, look, I get it. It takes a lot. Dark Souls is very popular. It takes a long ass time to make video games, and it's hard. I get it. I think maybe they could have made a few more digressions from the formula.
Right.
Just get more speed. I should actually farm up some blocks just so I can get an extra, because I really want to get the
20%
5 points in this. We'll cover the next part of the game, which I really enjoy, which is something that's not intentional, but it has to do with sort of like lower budget or indie developers. Like my job is testing video games.
Right.
Is that has been kind of noticed before. This whole gauntlet right here, where they want you to go, you fall down, you're trapped in the area, you have to go all the way up around here. You can kind of see like where it kind of goes. Mm-hmm. This is a gigantic pain in the ass, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
Especially since I don't even have the weapons I like yet. The sword is just fine. I mean, I have my boots, so I guess I have all I need.
Yeah,
I'm like,
really?
you know what? Prefabs in the Unity engine usually don't have, I want to say like...
Bespoke collision?
No, bespoke collision, yeah. There's a name for it. Imposters. So they don't usually use them, as far as I know. A person would probably just have the collision baked into each of the prefabs rather than have separate ones that are imposters that don't have collision. They can use the backgrounds. Mm-hmm. That's more of a thing that, I don't know, it's just like a level of like money and effort and time and team members and stuff that, you know, optimizations for extremely high-end graphics and whatnot, suddenly it becomes important that you only have, you know, collision for certain things. So right. I'm like, you know what, I'm just, you know, but they also have this, I'm just going to go up here and do this. So now we got the checkpoint, and we're behind everybody, and this is so much better. And this is the kind of thing where I'm very happy that it's in there, and I hope they don't change it at all. Because I'm like, this I find extremely satisfying to do, is to find the way, like...
I mean, yeah.
That guy.
Oh, you got a javelin.
Killed by the guy in the background.
Can you level up wherever, or does it have to be at fountains?
It has to be at a fountain.
Okay.
See, I can just get a few hits out of this. It's fine. It also has some of the... Hey. Has the Bloodborne rally system, which is what that...
The yellow bar is?
Yeah, the yellow bar is.
Okay. Is there any other health regen?
Not right now, because I don't have the... Oh, I died. I got a guitar sting.
Ooh.
I'll get my stuff back.
So really, those javelin guys are absolutely the most dangerous thing.
Yeah, at the moment, yeah. Just gotta outrange this guy for a second.
Yeah.
Oh, got too close.
It's odd that you outrange him, considering y'all have the same weapons.
Well, I'm also moving backwards. I'm just trying to keep proper distance here. Let's get our stuff back.
Oh, you had like
he didn't make it.
3 Gs. Oh.
Yes, now I'm just going to be attacked by this guy, which is annoying.
Is there a recharge on the boot?
It's a little bit. A little tiny one. Get out of here.
Nice.
Can also boot cancel, which I want to get into as soon as I find my second weapon, which is like...
Boot cancel, okay. Can you choose what direction your sword goes, or no?
No, not really.
Okay.
It's just kind of the combo.
Are you still going back to where they
expected you? I'm going back just for funsies.
This does look fairly. This looks really satisfying to do.
It is satisfying once you get it down. This guy in the back, though. This guy.
Oh, I just realized he has the same boot you do. You get codex entries for the first kill and then subsequent kills, I guess?
That is correct. Okay. There's like a certain amount that you get, and then you get your codex entry unlocked. So there, I killed enough of them, so it just tells me, you know, like Symphony of the Night style, all of their weaknesses.
Nice.
There was finally enough enemies around to spawn in the metal music. Let's do a thing there. Just need one more, just a little bit, and get my
reflection.
Yeah, what is my challenge at for this? I could probably get it by just standing here and getting 10
blocks.
10 blocks. Hold on, let's just farm this out for a second. You. That's unblockable. That's fine. You can just throw that at me. I lost track. I'm done. I'm not even paying attention.
Stopped counting. There it is. Nice.
Thank you, sir. So now this works kind of like the consumable souls.
Oh, okay.
You get a challenge done. You can use it whenever you want, which I'm just use it now because I want to
get that
actually
speed.
get my speed up so I can grab the reflection. Which is kind of... So now we have a new one for 2 successful reflects within 10 seconds, 5 times.
Okay.
Now, that means parrying. It says parrying, and technically this weapon here says that... the Old Blade. You can block with this weapon. Which we'll discover shortly actually means something different, so...
Oh, so this cannot parry.
That is correct. It is a blocking weapon. Forgot to hit the button here. We're just gonna do that real fast. Yeah.
Whoop. Whoop.
Hey. You. Get out of here.
All right.
Character sheet, codex. Yes. We can go up. We can go down.
Let's go up.
Okay, let's go up. This guy. Get rid of that. Oh, he's still alive.
This is single player only?
This is single player only.
Yeah, I figured.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, making a multiplayer game is really difficult.
So these enemies here, this is where it was kind of weird because I was like, it's not working.
Oh, the parry?
Yeah, that's not gonna work. So we can actually, we can run up on them, which would probably be fine.
Okay.
But we actually need a parry weapon before that'll work properly. Get out of here.
Always funny.
Breaking will require some heavier tool.
I bet it's an axe or a hammer.
Maybe. We got this. It's got some essence out of that.
So
and, a locked door, basically.
The amount of essence you get seems very specific. I assume it's just like percentage of a level.
I can only assume that that's the case. I mean, as you go on, those things give you more and more essence. So, kind of figured that would be the case. There's no run button. You move pretty fast, generally speaking.
Right.
But it's also you can very easily slip off and fall. So
So there is fall damage.
Yes. Fatal fall damage, pits that just you just die.
Okay.
But we have our second weapon. This weapon's so good.
Catacomb spear.
We can swap weapons. I have it bound to up on the D-pad at the moment, but you can also switch with these buttons here. Anyways, spear is great, and I love it. and it's a parry weapon.
Oh.
So the Catacomb Spear's challenge is to hit 2 enemies with a single light attack 10 times.
Okay.
This one has range. It's fast. Strong attack. Yeah, it's kind of does what it does. And then this is it. So instead of blocking, it parries, and you have very obvious parry frames because it changes your crosshair.
Right. Oh, nice.
This is where this is as fast as you can do it. Just as an example.
Okay. I hear
Just
the
button.
clicks.
Click the button. This is as fast as you do it. Unless you boot cancel. That's some tech right there.
That is some tech.
That's some speed tech. I just have to try and do it intentionally instead of accidentally. Let me in. Let me in. I might be able to. We don't need to do that. That's fine. We get some new enemies here. Some drowners. This is the parry indicator.
Oh, so they can be parried like that.
They sure can.
Nice. I think he was dead.
He's dead. Just checking.
I got some
Let's see if we can actually get some music rolling here. Let's press forward. Missed.
Somebody really likes their chorus, their tremolo. They heard a... Oh my god.
That guy didn't make it.
I heard a Leslie cabinet once. There's the chugs, though.
And the chugs, I like the chugs. Can't go wrong with a good chug.
Right.
We got some spiders down here. Everything kills you in like one hit, but we can at least get this, there we go, fountain.
Wait, those are scorpions?
Yep.
You call them spiders.
Sorry. This is, yeah, scorpions.
I mean, they're all arachnids here, but...
Not exactly sure the parry timing on these. They have to float into flames, you know,
Yeah.
lava scorpions.
Nice.
Drowners and lava scorpions. So the spear special effect is that it does more damage the further away from the enemies you are.
Oh.
So kind of actually similar to like halberds and Dark Souls. The tip, it does the most damage.
Yeah, sweet spot damage.
Yeah, sweet spot damage. Which means that you can... these guys do a lot of damage, but you can outrange them, which, you know, is like the way that you take care of them most efficiently.
So is this...
I suppose you could also parry them. Let's see if I can... Oh, nope. It's very fast attack, David.
Wow.
Okay, just I need to kind of pre-parry a little bit.
I was going to ask, is this Dark Souls-esque in that it's a world you explore, or is it more painkiller that it's levels?
It is a world that you explore.
Okay. So you'll come back here at some point, probably.
This particular opening area, not so much, though.
Okay.
Only because the catacombs, although there is a little bit of... Maybe, I guess the answer to your question is a little bit of both.
Okay.
So, like, the entire gigantic catacombs area kind of loops around in itself, and you'll have some shortcuts and some hidden areas. And then, you know, major boss, move on to a new area, and that new area is not really connected, but it has its own sort of, like, new zone with, like, shortcuts and stuff to spiral around.
All right. So, are their attacks parryable since they have the different image?
They are.
Okay.
It's very, very quick.
Clearly.
This sucks because there's a guy up there that's gonna shoot down on me.
Oh.
Which is why I want to fight in this corridor.
Also, it's a corridor. Nice.
Try and get it. So yeah, these guys, like I said, enemies are deterministic, so I know that once I get in range, they'll... oh boy.
Oof. Wow.
Try and rally a little bit there. Okay. Good to go.
Once you get in range, you know that they're going to attack.
Yeah, so then you can kind of pre-parry a little bit. Anyways, like I said, that determinism is actually extremely useful. Because I don't know, let's just go this way. I'll take care of that guy later.
I was like, that doesn't seem strictly intended, but
requires a key. You need a key.
You need a key? Do you have a key, sir?
But we can parry these guys now, so we can.
Oh, and that shoots it back at him. Ooh.
Yep. Dang it. Remember I said they always do that counterattack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
That was the boot. Hold on. Wait, that was the boot. A bit of a boot mistake there.
I mean, to be fair, I think it is possible to, like, do a weird, like, roundhouse kick kind of thing to knock something out of the air, but, I mean, you're not...
Yeah, I have right now. I have it so that on the controller I have block parry on left bumper and then boot on left trigger. It's not what it is by default. I forgot what it is by default, but it's so I can do either or, and it's also a little bit easier to do the boot cancels. But if I hit right in between them, I think the boot comes out for the parry. it might have killed me a time or two.
Really? Maybe.
Who knows? Who can't be sure. Hey, guy.
What's
up?
All right, so red numbers always indicate a kill.
I guess so. Okay. Got some... We were just in here earlier.
Right.
There's a little treasure over there. This guy
There's
here.
that jerk.
He's dead.
Okay, that's funny.
Hi, David.
Hi, Jeff.
We'll splice this in later. We're talking about Elderborn.
Still. Again?
So yes, still again. Again, this is the black and white, like there's like ominous music playing and like unflattering photos of Elderborn with like its face blurred out is slowly going around in the background.
Okay.
It's not that it's not that severe.
Maybe not.
Literally after we recorded the recommendation video, I went back and I finished the game because I was one step away from beating the game. It turns out.
That's
so. So here's the thing. The Elderborn has 3 chapters. We'll say. Mm-hmm. Well, they also say that because it's in their like marketing.
Okay.
If you read the description. The first chapter is great. And we saw some of the first chapter.
Right.
That's what the video is about. Or you're seeing it right now, depending on how the edit goes.
Right.
Is great. And it ends with, a big climactic boss fight. And then there's like cutscenes, some, little story developments. And then you enter chapter 2, and it's like a whole new area. It's harder, it's bigger, I'd say it's longer than chapter 1.
Okay.
It's like, okay, great. And then at the end of that, a super hard boss fight. It's like, okay, that's where I was at.
Oh.
When I was recording the video, I was at that boss fight, and I was like, okay, this boss fight's gonna take me a while. But I got it after, probably like another 8 to 10 attempts after I went back and went through it. I was like, all right,
okay,
what's the next step? Where's the third act of the game? Where's the third act of the story? Oh, there isn't one.
Oh, that was it.
Okay. It has the feeling of something that was rushed, like they didn't have development time or money or resources, so they tried to, as quickly and efficiently as possible, do what they had with the stuff they already had. So it's like, new enemies? No. Here's all the other enemies, but you fight them in just a bunch of combat arenas with like no context. And then here's a cliffhanger, the end, credits roll. I'm just like, okay, that's not a game.
There wasn't even a
Guys.
third boss?
No.
Oh, man.
There was not even a third boss. And I was like, from the perspective of like someone who wants to make video games and has made video games and is making them and has worked on video games and works in Unity.
Right.
Even.
Yeah.
Both professionally and hobbyily.
Hobbyily, yes.
Hobbyily. I'm like, I totally get it. Like, making a boss fight is, especially if the game you're making is something that has boss fights in it, like a Souls-like or action game, as this thing is. If it was Doom-like, it was more Doom-like, you wouldn't necessarily have to have boss fights, because Doom doesn't really have bosses. It's just, whatever. It's the Cyber Demon and the Spider Mastermind, technically, but I mean, they like die in 1 second to a BFG shot. They're more like just hard enemies at a certain point.
Right.
After a certain point, being like playing the game for 25 years, 30 straight years.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. You don't have to play this, but since they're doing a Dark Souls thing and they already had bosses, it's like I totally get that they don't have, they're not going to have like 15, handmade bosses.
Right.
And small team, the price is only $15. It was on sale because it was just came out, so it was only like $12. So I don't feel like it was like a bad value.
Right.
But I was definitely expecting a third act and to have an ending. But instead it's just like sequel bait, I guess. And then just smash to credits and then you're done. And I'm like, oh no. This left a very poor taste in my mouth because I put a disproportionate amount of what is not influence, weight on the ending of a game, because it's the last thing that you have.
I wouldn't say you put a disproportionate amount on the ending. I think you expect it to be a passable to good ending, and video games are awful at that.
And I don't know if I don't necessarily expect a soaring lore conclusion to this game, as it didn't really need one. Although, I mean, based on what actually does happen in the third act, it's like they obviously wanted to do things and go places with that story.
Right.
That was like, yeah, that'd be cool if this was not the end. Instead, this was, the third act of a story where there's a reversal and you're like, oh, that's what's happening. And then you get to a new area and then you have, more context for your quest and what the real villain is and the true areas that you need to go to. And it's like, okay, all right. Oh, no, we're done. Okay. All right. Okay, I guess so. So on the one hand, it was just a bad ending because it was just a gigantic cliffhanger. On the other hand, it was a poor designed ending because it was just really frustrating combat arenas.
Okay.
Where there's just like tons of enemies, and it's just enemies that just appear in waves, which is another thing that doesn't happen in the game. Because in the rest of the game, it's like you're exploring areas and you see the enemies and you can draw aggro on a few or whatever.
Right, yeah.
So, but it's just like wave survival in just these abstract zones. And enemies just popping up out of nowhere, and it was stupid and frustrating. And the last one was just garbage because it was all of the. So, what do you think the hardest type of enemy to fight is?
Long range.
In the melee combat, long range game. Yes, exactly. So the last combat arena is nothing but all of the long range enemies, one after another, after another, after another, after another, after another, and they're on a timer. And you have to memorize where they're coming in, because if you don't memorize where they're coming in and kill them almost immediately, then the timer for the next one will pop in, and you just get shot in the back of the head or exploded. And it's just like, this is not fun. Now I'm super salty and angry, and I'm like looking at it like, is there some trick I'm missing? And it's like, and this is also the end of the game. It's like, well, let's compound it.
Yeah.
Dang it. You had a good thing going.
You got a recommendation, Elderborn? You got a recommendation.
My thoughts are somewhat mixed.
Yeah.
Making video games is hard, and it's like a small team, and they made a game.
Right.
It's not quite, I mean, because it was in early access, I also kind of assumed that it would be slightly more there, because I assumed that this kind of thing would be more of the early access thing, where it's like, here's the first act of the game.
Right.
We're working on this. Let's get combat feedback. We'll tweak this number. We'll add these new weapons. This enemy will be here later. This boss is planned.
We'll slow this enemy down. All that stuff.
Yeah, and that stuff could still happen because it could still benefit from that kind of tweaking and balancing. But it's really just the content drought. It's just kind of like,
right,
bummer.
Yeah.
It's still a really fun game. It's just a really fun game that's only about 6 hours long, not 10 as I was kind of expecting based on, I don't know, the description, the flow of the game, the story, the like percentage of lore collected. It's like, okay, it was just missed a bunch of stuff, and that was it.
Huh.
The end. Okay, yeah, we'll play other video games.
Yeah. Sorry, Jeff.
It's okay. I'll keep looking for that, chasing that's very specific first-person dungeon crawler Kingsfield vibe.
I mean, you could just play Kingsfield again.
I could. I mean, the thought, just occurred to me. My current hopes lie on Monomyth, which has been following on Steam for like years now. But that's just a dude that just likes Kingsfield that's making his own game in that style. Mm-hmm. And there's like no telling if that'll ever get done. Well, it's like, it'll be out in 2020, but okay.
I mean, it's like with I'm blanking on his name. Axiom Verge. Thomas Happ?
Biscup. Happ. Yes. Tom Happ.
Tom Happ.
Wait,
okay.
Who's Biscup?
So Tom Happ.
Who was I thinking of? Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Thomas Biscup is the guy who single-handedly does ADOM, the roguelike, Ancient Domains of Mystery.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
All right. I was not completely off, and a Thomas that single-handedly made an extremely deep and complicated game.
Right. But I can say I've played Axiom Verge.
Continue.
ADOM is...
I have watched people play ADOM a lot.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like playing ADOM, but not really the same.
Not really. It's like getting the benefits of playing ADOM without having to learn the controls, which are the thing that keeps me from playing ADOM. Anyway.
Moving on.
Yeah. It's you can't expect everything from everyone, but to be fair, you weren't going in with expectations of the best game ever. It's just it fell apart in the third act.
Yep, I was meeting the game on its own terms. Mm-hmm. I was like, this is a game that I saw and put on my wish list because it was like, it's a first-person action indie thing. Maybe it'll be good when it comes out. I'll give it a shot. We'll see. Mm-hmm. And it was fun, but then it was also disappointing.
Right.
Leave a comment below if you like, and this is actually just for me. If you have PC games that scratch that itch of first-person dungeon crawler, which are not the following games. Okay, Kingsfield, obviously, been there. I've done that. Arx Fatalis, been there and done that. None of the arcane games like Dark Messiah, Might and Magic, or your Dishonored's. It's like been there, done that. Skyrim, heavily modded with a bunch of combat mods. Been there, done that. It's not quite what I'm looking for.
Right.
Ultima Underworld, didn't really work out. Underworld Ascendant, I tried it when it first came out and it was bad. This is another example of indie game put onto list that think will be like the thing that I want and then play it when came out and not good. Although this was better than that was, and all of the sort of Moonlight PC, which is the PC Japan only modding tool for Kingsfield that was translated into English 17 years ago, and a few people have made games based on that. I've played those. I've played Trismegistus. I've played that other one I forget the name of. Those are pretty good, and obviously are very close to Kingsfield.
Because they're made with the Kingsfield toolset,
But
yeah.
they're too close to Kingsfield because Kingsfield controls bad.
That's true.
So it's like, it's a game that I like despite a lot of things about itself.
Right. I believe your words were, you get outturned by a sundial.
Yes, exactly. Your rotation speed. Yes, you race a sundial and lose. I have also played Eldritch, which is pretty good. It's a roguelike style first person, simple graphics, almost Minecraft-like in its simplicity, but it's very run based. But it can be very creepy despite all of that. I've also played a bunch of Delver, which also has a very simple art style, first person roguelike. Roguelike, actually. There's a lot of things borrowed from roguelikes, such as the random potions and whatnot, scrolls of identify and so forth. I've also been playing recently the Kings of Lorne. But we'll probably have a video on that later. There's the engagement call to action.
Please tell Jeff
Comment
how
down below. I want video games that are like that thing.
Get Jeff his fix. Get Jeff his fix.
So I can get a Vista.
You're gonna try to get us a Vista?
There we go. We got some drowners. Let's see if I can just get a tiny bit of rotation here. Okay.
So
No, hold on. Okay, let's start over here and then get a tiny bit. Just a inch. Hold on. Okay, good enough.
So if you've enjoyed this and the other things we do, please go support us on Patreon. It's the most direct way to help us make this stuff. We love making it and doing that, or the liking and subscribing and sharing the video. All those things make it. You stop the rotation.
I wanted to go kill some things. You do the thing.
All of those things make it easier for us to do it. Again, this is Elderborn. You can get it on Steam. How much is it?
I think it was 15.
Okay, sweet. And hashtag not sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsored.
But
cancel. Gotta cancel. Oh, that one I committed to another hit.
Yeah.